Test. There we go. Oh, my battery for real. Welcome back to Thoughts from a Bookworm. I'm Abigail Grace. Today we're going to be continuing to talk about the Princess Diaries series. And I know last week I said that I was going to do individual episodes for each individual book, but I changed my mind. There are a couple books where not a whole lot happens, where I don't like, so I wouldn't really have a whole lot to say, and those episodes would literally be like 2 minutes. So we're just going to lump them in groups of 3. So today we're going to be talking about Princess in the Spotlight, Princess in Love, and Princess in Waiting. And the Princess in the Spotlight is, in my mind, when the series starts. There's a lot of inconsistencies, things that were said at the beginning but are then suddenly different at the end throughout the whole series. But I noticed a lot of differences between the first book and the second book in terms of like Mia's thought process, what's happening around her, that kind of stuff. So in my mind, book 2 is really when the series starts, because that's when the inconsistencies lessen. They're still there, and we'll talk about them as we get to them. But Princess in the Spotlight starts with Mia's mom telling her that she just found out she is pregnant with Mia's algebra teacher's baby. The two of them decide to get married, but they're going to do it in like an elopement style. Like they're just going to go to the town courthouse, kind of keep it quiet, do it relatively quickly. Mia's trying to keep this secret. She's not telling anybody, but she's still kind of going about, still figuring out and learning about being a princess and dealing with paparazzi and interviews and all that kind of stuff. So while she's dealing with that, she also starts getting like anonymous love letter type things, but in the forms of like email or like DMs of this random person at school, boy at school, who says that he likes her. He says that he's always thought she was really cool even before she was a princess. Mia secretly suspects / hopes that it's Michael, even though she kind of doesn't really think that it's Michael because she doesn't think Michael would do something like that. But as the notes get like more like consistent, she kind of starts to pay attention more to Michael and just hoping that it's him. At the end, we find out that it was Kenny, who is Mia's bio partner. It was not Michael. Kenny actually asks Mia out, and she's somewhat blindsided by it, so she says okay. And then the second book starts with her and Kenny are dating. She refers to him as her boyfriend, but she's not like into it. She doesn't really want to date him. She doesn't really like him. She likes him as a friend, but doesn't like him romantically. And then she's talking to her grandmother about like her dilemma or something, and the grandmother makes the comment of, well, Kenny sent you all those anonymous love letters and now you're his girlfriend. So then Mia takes that and is like, okay, so why don't I do that to Michael? Why don't I start sending Michael all these like anonymous love notes? So she and her now best friend Tina, because Tina's now her best friend, start sending Michael these like love letters of things like I like you, I love you, this and that. Mia and Kenny and Lily and Boris go ice skating one day, and Michael shows up with another girl, and Mia immediately assumes that they're dating. And I think that the author did such a good job at conveying that feeling of like despair, even though you really shouldn't be in despair. I don't know, like I personally have had that experience where it's like I have a crush on a guy or I like a guy or whatever, but I know he's not interested in me back, or I know he has a girlfriend or whatever. So it's like it really shouldn't matter in theory what he does or where he's going or who he's spending his time with. But when I find out that, oh, he has a girlfriend, or oh, he's bringing his girlfriend to a dance or whatever, it kind of like that gut tightening. I don't know. The author did a good job at conveying that feeling, because I feel like in some level, like we've all experienced that feeling in some regard. I don't know. But I really like that. So Mia suspects that they're dating. Lily repeatedly says they're not dating. Judith is just a fellow senior at Albert Einstein High School. She and Michael are partners for, there's like a winter carnival / dance that's coming up, and Michael and Judith are head of the computer club, and they're working on their computer like club booth, so that's why they're spending all this time together. Mia keeps writing those notes to Michael, and then toward the end of the book, Tina's kind of like, okay, so like when are you going to tell Michael? Mia's like, I'm not going to tell Michael. She kind of gets shy all of a sudden, and then at the winter carnival, Michael kind of pulls Mia aside and is like, hey, I want you to see this computer thing. So he sits her down at the booth and he shows her something different. He even makes a comment to Judith. It's like, no, hang on, I have something special that I want to show her. So he shows her this video that he made, and it's this animation of the palace at Genovia. And then there's text written on the screen that says like, I can't remember exactly what it says, but it alludes that Michael knows that Mia was the one sending those messages. In the text, he says that he loves her too. Mia freaks out. She thinks that he's like teasing her and poking fun at her. So Mia runs away. Kenny intercepts her and breaks up with her because he thinks that she's interested in Boris, who is Lily's boyfriend. Mia kind of lets him think that, okay, fine, you think that, like, let's it. Like, she's been wanting to get out of this relationship for a while. So the two of them break up. Mia runs to the bathroom. After everything kind of dies down, she goes home. She's not intending on going to the Winter Carnival dance because she doesn't have a boyfriend anymore. She doesn't really want to go, but Grandmère talks her into going. So she's given this really pretty green dress that makes her look really good. She goes to the dance. And as soon as she gets there, Lily kind of like, oh my gosh, you're here. Wait right here. Lily goes, she calls Michael, who's also at home. Michael runs over. He like assures Mia that he wasn't teasing her. He does really like her. He's in love with her. The two of them make out, and then that's how the book ends, which is right before Mia is scheduled to appear in Genovia for her first public address since being like revealed as the princess. Book 4, Princess in Waiting, is one of the slower books. Not a whole lot happens in this book, and it starts with Mia. She's in Genovia. It kind of starts like she starts her journal sometime in January, and then she kind of backtracks to like December. So she recounts what happened in December, the gifts she got, spending Christmas at the palace, how it's not all that glamorous as she thought it was. She's really psyched that she's finally Michael's girlfriend, so she can think about him all the time. She can call him whenever she wants, that kind of stuff. Then Grandmère makes a comment to her that men don't like women to be the aggressors. Men don't like women who are assertive, or who men like to be the ones chasing. And if a woman is the one chasing, then that's kind of like a put off for a man, which Grandmère is very dramatic about it, but I do feel like she's right in a way that women should not be the aggressors, women should not be the initiators, that's the man's job. So I did like that she pointed that out to Mia, and that Mia seemed to take that to heart. I was like, okay, then Mia kind of backs off a little. She doesn't call Michael as much. She kind of waits for him to take the lead, take the initiative, and that kind of stuff. She finally gets home right before February, which is when the new school semester starts. School starts. She and Michael have the same lunch period. They're still in Gifted and Talented together. So she kind of is like settling and like, okay, things are going to be kind of as normal as they are. Michael asks her out for their first official date. He asks her to go see, there's a screening. I don't know if screening rooms are things anymore, or if it was like old. I don't know what it was. But I think a screening room is like where, kind of like a movie theater, but there's food apparently, because he asks her out to go see a showing of Star Wars at the screening room where they can also have dinner. So she's super psyched about it. He asks her out on Friday night. Or he asks her to go out with him on Friday night. Mia's super psyched about it. She asks her mom. Her mom says yes. She kind of goes through the rest of her day, like super looking forward to Friday. And then she finds out later that afternoon that Grandmère has a black and white ball that she's expecting Mia to attend. And Mia is like, absolutely no way I'm going to that. She gets her dad involved. Her dad doesn't make her go, so she's free and clear. But then Grandmère, of course, totally manipulates Mia and is like, oh, I just really wanted to show you off. How could you not love me? My high school bully, rival person, woman is going to be there, and she would just love to be able to rub that my granddaughter doesn't love me enough, and blah, blah, blah. Totally manipulates Mia. That kind of stuff really irritates me in books when when the same character is constantly being manipulative, being toxic, and is never like called out on it. Like Mia will call Grandmère out on it, and then nothing happens. 9 out of 10 times Mia ends up apologizing. And it's like the same kind of thing with Lily. Lily does that kind of stuff too, which is super annoying. And it's doubly annoying because my best friend's name is Lily, and she's like the sweetest person ever. And Lily in the Princess Diaries is like the worst person ever. Anyway, so Mia finally decides to go. And that means she has to break her date with Michael. And she's really worried that by her breaking her date, Michael is then going to break up with her, because like, how can you have a girlfriend if you don't even go on dates with her? Which is like really overthinking, and again, just brilliant. The author captured that overthinking teenage girl mind. It was perfect. So Mia tells Michael about that. Michael's like super chill about it. He's like, no worries. Things kind of go on as normal. Mia's still expecting to be broken up with on Friday. Michael says, oh, well, if you can't come to the screening room, why don't you just come over after the ball and we can hang out? Mia takes that as, why don't you come over and I'll dump you? So Mia goes to the ball. She's really upset about it, but she's able to kind of get out of the ball early. She goes to Michael's apartment fully intending on like being broken up with, but Michael brings her into the living room. He's got like a mock screening room set up in his living room. He's got Star Wars ready to go. He's made like veggie burgers for them to have dinner. And Mia's very confused and she's like, wait, you're not breaking up with me? And Michael kind of gets irritated at one point, which I think is really cute because she keeps asking him, like, you're not going to break up with me? You're not mad at me? And he's like, no, I'm not going to break up with you because you couldn't go on a date. So they make out again. They make out a lot in this series, to be honest. But that is how book 4 ends. In my mind, that's book 3, but in actuality, it is book 4. So that is how book 4 ends. This is another reason why I wanted to do the books in clumps because, I mean, this is only like 10 minutes. I'm at 12 minutes right now. It's going to end up being shorter when I edit it. I feel like if I were to try and break these up into individual books, episodes would just be so short and dinky. And I'm honestly kind of even on the fence about doing the whole series just because it's so long. Not a lot of people read it. It's not very popular anymore because I know it's pretty old, but it's still a fun series that I kind of just want to talk about. And I figure while I'm still planning on like more bigger episodes, I would kind of do some fun little fill-in episodes. So that's what we're going to do for the rest of this series. That is also where we're going to end today's episode. If you made it to the end, thank you so much. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you never miss an episode.